Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic and this is another reaction to My Hero Academia. It is season 3 episode 6 and well, you know what to do. As always, if you want to see the reaction, please go down into my descriptions. You will find a link leading to either my Google Drive or my Dailymotion, and there you can watch the full reaction. Once you've watched the reaction, please feel free to come back here and hear out my thoughts about this episode. So, please remember to replace the circumflex dot parts with real dots so you can enjoy the reaction. See you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, that was awesome, right? I mean, come on. It was. You can't deny that. What a nice episode. So much happened. We met some other villains. We now know why there was some blood and bones lying around, so it seems there's something big running through the forest. And well, multiple things happen, so let's go through it one by one. We started off with Shoji and Tokoyama, who lost control over Dark Shadow, which was awesome. I mean, I really waited for this to happen sometime. For those who watched my reactions from Season 1, in Season 1 I already discussed about the fact that Dark Shadow, when being trained properly, when being used properly, could be, well, there's no question, there's no real answer how strong he can get. He was already impressively strong and versatile, especially offensive and defensive in the tournament and everywhere else. We've seen his disadvantages when it comes to light, but we never really could see his real power in darkness, because then they lose control. So I speculated about options like turning off the lights, like clouding the suns, or creating like a sphere of darkness around him, you know, that any of the other quirks could be used for that. As example, Momo could like create a huge blanket which blocks out the sun completely on top of the stadium, as example, or on top of an alley, so that there's shadow and Tokoyama gets stronger inside, stuff like that. So it goes in both directions. However, this time he was in more neither pure darkness, so the forest is extremely dark. It is night, and well, he lost the control, although he trained exactly that before. And by meaning he lost control, it means that Dark Shadow is attacking everything and everyone moving around him. So like a wild enemy, like a caged animal would attack anything that comes too close. And he even hurt his partner, so Shoji was hurt, but, and that's a good thing, it was just one of his duplicate arms. I can only guess that it feels like, I mean, he can create duplicate arms, nice. And it is one of those, not his real arms, so it's no permanent damage. But I guess it will feel like a real arm is ripped apart from you when it happens. So seeing that he's still standing and everything, kudos to him. He really, in my opinion, Shoji, who was always like a secondary character, really had spotlight on him this episode, and I liked that a lot, because it was not mainly about his abilities, although those were used. It was a bit about him and how he acts, and the fact is, he's a hero. I mean, completely. He even offered to distract Dark Shadow again, so that Deku could run away towards Kachan to help, while he tries to lure Dark Shadow towards the campfire, so that he gets weakened then. Which very likely wouldn't have worked. I mean, it is very far away. So he was kind of willing to sacrifice himself for others. And that's it again. What is a hero, you know? So, absolutely went up in my very own list of favorite heroes, or heroes to be. That was cool. I liked it. He was carrying around Deku for the rest of the episode, which shows us a lot how Deku is right now when it comes towards health and injuries. So yeah, no question, Deku could have walked alone, but it is he's like running on borrowed time right now. Seeing that we discussed it already in the last 2 episodes, it's very, very likely that this will have very bad consequences when all of this here is over. Because the one time that he overdid it in the tournament, his hand was permanently injured. And this was at a time when when medical help was there instantly. Right now he's running around with broken limbs and being over his limit for like, I think like an hour by now, maybe. So it's not good. Just let it be like that. However, they lured Dark Shadow towards the enemy, and that was clever. So they did it by using the duplicate arms to make noises on the sides of Dark Shadow, so that Dark Shadow was hitting towards duplicate arms instead of them in the center. Very easy, but very clever. You have to think about it, you know, once you see it, the plan, it's like, eh, well, that's an easy plan. But come up with it in such a situation, it's not so easy then. And they lured him towards Kachan and Todoroki, because that's where Deku wanted to go, to save Kachan. And we know from the tournament that Kachan was able to beat Dark Shadow. It was not in his big form at this time, but he used his explosions to create light. You know, fire explosions have light in it, so and light weakens the Dark Shadow every time. They didn't show it, however, completely how it happened. It was just like that you could see Todoroki and Kachan turning on their fires, and then they just switched to the next moment where Dark Shadow is gone. But it's okay, you know. They could have shown it like that he's like crumbling or anything, but it was okay that they switched it, for me at least. But before they did this, they let him run wild for a second on the enemy, on Moonflash, I think it is, Moonfish, who was completely out of his league when it came to that. So he had like no chance at all against the Dark Shadow. And he was just one punched, you know, against the tree, and that's it. I like this out of, not so much about the fact that the villain was beat. I like the whole concept, this scene in general, out of one major reason: rock, paper, scissors. So he had no chance against Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow has no chance against Kachan and Todoroki when they activate their fire abilities. And the two of them had no chance against the villain, because he had the range and the speed of multiple attacks that they couldn't go against. So it shows us that there is not like the ultimate Quirk. There will always be someone who has like the perfect answer for your Quirk. You know, if you have speed, then possibly he has something like he cannot be moved and hurt directly. Just as an example. If you have strength, you have someone who just is able to evade your strength all the time, and then it doesn't matter. If you have fire, you have water on the other side, and so on and so forth. So that was very nice to be shown this rock, paper, scissors idea, that there is... The quirks are like having abilities to be good against some specific other quirks, but incredibly bad against others. So I like that. I really, really dig that. That was cool. Later on, when we had them in a group together, additional with Uraraka and the others, there was this moment when Deku said, this is like the ultimate combination of powers, of quirks. As a group like this, we could even beat All Might. And I mean, that was Deku saying it, not a villain or anyone else. That was Deku, who, on the one hand, completely adores All Might. You know, he is obsessed with him and his powers. And that's the second thing, he's the one that writes down everything, that knows everything, that is aware of the powers that All Might has, how it works, and aware of the abilities and quirks of his comrades there. So when he says something like that, that has to mean something, you know? That is something valuable. So maybe it's a hint for the future for a group. I don't know. We will see. Then we went over to Toga. So we haven't seen much from her, except that she's completely crazy and somehow is into blood, which we learned this time a bit more about. So she has this, I'm not sure if it is a scalpel or like a very short knife, but I guess it is like a clinical tool. Not really like a weapon, but more like a doctor's tool to cut open people. And she uses it like that. She cut Uraraka, and she did cut Sue as well on the tongue, which must hurt like hell. And she then stated it's not enough blood yet. So she needs blood for something. And I guess it is something with her quirk. So she can do something when she has enough blood of a person, which was kind of proven later on when she was asked by her two comrades if she collected the blood as she wanted. And she only got that of one person, Uraraka. She wanted it of 3, so let's see what's going to happen there. However, she has this nice statement of I love blood, so okay, nice for you. And then you had the picture of Stain, which is very fitting, because if I remember correctly, Stain had an ability that was blood-based as well. So he needed to lick up the blood of his enemy, and then he was able to freeze them. So some kind of a similar ability seems to be here when it comes to her. Not directly the same, something which just requires blood. I loved the fact that Uraraka was able to beat her instantly by using her learned melee abilities. Because that was something we had in the last season, that she was going for an internship. While she had the choice of multiple ones, she went for one where she was about to be trained in melee fight, which she was really bad at before. And she was aware of this. She was aware of the fact what her weakness was, and she tried to improve there. And those some parts, not many, which we have seen about her being there, was more like a beat up than anything else. So she really had a tough time there. She did learn, but she really, really did not have an easy time. So I like it that they went back for that. I really love it that she was able to use it. And it shows that heroes very often here in this series are not only about the quirks. There's a lot of melee fight happening, as we have seen when it comes to the Pussycats as example. We had it there as well. So, nicely done. Very cool thing. A bit sad that she was stabbed howsoever with the needle. But it's okay. And Toga thinks she has 2 friends now. Okay. But she could kind of read into Uraraka. I'm not sure, maybe she... No, the whole thing with her and Deku was not in public, so she could really see it in her. Maybe it's due to the fact that she licked up her blood a little bit. Maybe it's not. But I think out of what Toga said so far, the fact that you really adore someone, you really like someone, in the end you want to be like this person. I just guessing here, but I guess she has some kind of like copy ability, something like that. If she has the blood of another person, that she can kind of read the emotions, or maybe even copy being this person. Not sure if she can do it bodily completely, like that she would look like Uraraka in the future. That would be a problem, but at least that she has the same emotions, feelings, thoughts, maybe even the memories. That would be an interesting power. And it would explain why she acted the way that she did when Deku appeared. Because she looked at him and it was... I mean, for me it was clear it was this oh my, I like that boy. As Uraraka does, you know? And she stated later on that she found 2 friends and a cute boy she fell in love with, you know? She's interested in. So I think it has something to do with the drained blood. I'm pretty sure we will learn more about this. I really hope it does not have a negative impact on Uraraka. But we will learn about that. However, it seems Deku has a new fan. That will be interesting, the way that she acts. Possibly he will get love letters. That will be funny. We will see. Then we learned about Mr. Compress. So, we have not seen him use his quirk. But however he did it, he was able to turn Kachan and Tokoyama into little glass pearls. Wood pearls, I'm not sure what it was. Of this size. And is carrying them with him. So, seeing that he is named Mr. Compress, I guess it is maybe something that either he turns them into those pearls, or that he like creates a bulb around them, which then compresses into this small amount, and they are inside in a very small person, you know. And if you like, I don't know, smash those on the ground, they will be possibly back. I'm not sure. I can only guess they're like in stasis or anything. They were possibly surprised, so they did not see it coming, so they were kind of backstabbed and couldn't defend themselves. But even then, it means that he like one-shotted them, which makes him very dangerous. Very, very dangerous, because it might be that Tokoyama was done, was out of power because of what happened before. But Kachan was pretty fit still, and you didn't hear any word at all. So, he could not get out of this bubble, however. That is dangerous. I really look forward to see how it works, and if they find a solution how to undo it on the one hand, and if it comes for you. Let's just say he creates a bubble around you. How do you get out of it before it is shrinked into this small amount? But apart from that, he's not a fighter at all. He's a magician, you know. He's, as he said himself, an entertainer. So he's good at running away. I really like that. So he, in very many ways, is a typical villain from movies and things alike. Very flamboyant, very big style, you know, cool dress. Talking a lot, telling about his plans in the end, if possibly, and then running away, always escaping. Very fitting. I like that. So they follow him, as it should be, no question there. And he, in the end, verified what we already guessed. So the villains are there to get Kachan out of the school and offer him a place in the League of Villains. It is a bit too much for one person. I don't understand completely why. All of this, the whole attack and everything to get one person out, does not really make much sense. But as we see, this plan has multiple layers. So they want to have Kachan. Additional, they are collecting blood. They tried to kill Mr. Aizawa, the Eraserhead. So I think it is multiple things they do there. It is not just Kachan. It is one of the goals. And in the end they try to hit the UA, maybe to hit society in general, but they are kind of aware that in the UA is All Might, so it's possibly like a hit to his emotions as well, which they are doing. Then we had Mono and Awase. So I do not really remember him. So I guess he is from 1B, hopefully, because if he's from 1A, how could I miss him? With the ability to weld things together, which he, as it seems, used to carry Momo, as he wouldn't have been able to do in this speed. She is clearly injured, and as it seems, not a little bit, very injured. And they made contact. They had a little meeting with the big fella. So they got one of the creations with them, with a lot of weapons on it. And this one attacked the two of them. And then instantly stopped because Compress sent to everyone that he finished the job and they are allowed to leave now. Which still shows us that catching Kachan is the major priority thing they wanted to do. So, still interesting. So he just went away in this moment. He just, stopped attacking like a machine. Very easy one-sided brain there. And Momo was, and I really like that, instantly thinking about what that means and what to do now. So they attached a little probe on the back of this thing, which possibly will be needed later on to find the location, because it, well, not saying that the other four are not winning their fight, but it sounds a lot like maybe they will not do, and then they will have to follow them to rescue Kachan and Tokoyama. We will see, however. But I like the fact that she was witty, that she had, that she was very clever. We've seen that in the past already. She's a clever girl. And once again, they used abilities combined. So those of you who started at the beginning of this season with me know this is something I always request. Use your quirks intelligent and try to combine your quirks to do more with it. And really, they did it in this episode. I liked that a lot. So throwing the others is the next thing where you can see this. We had the little appearance of Warp Gate before that, however. So in the fight with the kittens, where, by the way, it was mentioned that Spinner did not show his quirk yet. Indeed. In this fight, Warp Gate appeared and said that he has to get rid of those two now. I am not sure. I mean, we know that Warp Gate is awesome. I like the concept of him. He looks really cool. His power, his quirk is incredibly nice. But I mainly like the fact that he looks so like a well-dressed guy, but then he's just this warp dust. I really like that. So he appears, and I'm not sure. Maybe he's just trying to get rid of the pussycats, the two of them that are left. But it may be as well that he's cutting off unneeded parts of the villain society, which did not do their job. So it might as well be that he tries to kill the two villains, which would be interesting too. We will see about that in the next episode, I guess. So, back to our main group. So, Deku had the idea of using Uraraka's ability of a quirk to make them float, and then Tsu's very long tongue and very strong tongue, as we've seen in the past, which she used in one of the trainings as example to propel others forward. So she's kind of throwing them in zero gravity, following Mr. Compress and trying to catch him in the air. And it worked like that, while Shoji is using his arms to kind of navigate in the air. So, very well thought about, and it worked like a charm, exactly like that. They did hit him and punch him down back to earth in the center of his friends. So that's possibly a fight we are in for next. However, when she did throw them, I did see that Tsu's tongue did bleed a lot. So I asked myself, I'm not sure if they will show this or go on for this, if maybe she ripped open her tongue there. Being what she is, it will possibly grow back, or if not, at least I guess Recovery Girl will be able to help. But that's once again one of those things where you can see what all of those students are doing. They are really sacrificing their bodies if needed for their friends. So they got them down, and we ended off with, in the end it is twice, who is interesting, to say the least. Dabi and Toga. The three of them and Mr. Compressor. So those 4 villains on the one side. And we have, although it might be that Mr. Compressor is down right now because he was like smashed to the earth. And we have on the other side Todoroki, Deku, who's still incredibly hurt, and Mizo Shoji. So, well, no question there, Todoroki is awesome. He might be able to do a lot himself. Mizo Shoji, with his abilities, may not be the best in a fight yet. Although his arms are pretty tough, so I think in a melee fight he could do something. But he showed in this episode that he has full hero potential, so I hope he has some nice moments in the next episode as well. And for Deku, well, it is Deku. What shall I say? I guess he will go overboard if needed. I just hope he doesn't, you know? If you understand me, because he is already hurt. Maybe the villains will just disappear, will just run or warp gate out of it. Might be happening as well. What might happen is, however, that while crunching Mr. Compressor down to the ground, those pearls did break, or they will do it instantly in the next episode. Then we will have 2 possibly very pissed persons who will join the fight on their side, which is Tokoyama, who's possibly still too much hurt to really do much, but we would have Kachan, and he was already angry before, and being taken and turned into a little pearl and then carried away without his consent, I'm pretty sure he will go nuts about it. Possibly end the fight alone, if he's in there. So I'm not sure. Maybe we have a fight, maybe the villains will run using Warp Gate, in which case they will be now or later on being followed by using the probe that Momo and searching for his name, Awase, put on them. Question is if the other villains will escape. And there's still one lying in the mountain being completely punched out. So, that's it for this time. Really a nice episode. We haven't seen anything of the teachers in this episode, so maybe there will be something more the next one. We still haven't seen anything if there was like a message being sent out. I don't remember seeing Ingenium at all. So some students are still missing. I'm not sure what's about them. We have seen my little belly button boy being afraid, but I can understand that. He was told to carry 2 other characters out of it, so I guess they are there with him. So in this case it is, yes, he was afraid and he was not fighting. Okay, yes. But on the other side, if he would have done, then he very likely would have been killed, as would have been the 2 that he was carrying out. So, yes, it still shows that he has a weak point there. Something worth training, you know? Find your bravery. And as I said, some others are missing as well. So maybe we'll learn about them in the next episodes. That's it for this time, however. I hope you liked. I did for sure. It was an awesome episode, and I will see you the next time. Until then, my name is Relax and Panic. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Goodbye, and out.